In the early 1800s, the South China Sea was wild and lawless. Sailors feared the waves not just because of storms, but because of pirates. These weren't just small groups hiding in secret coves. Some had fleets, hundreds of ships moving like floating armies. But no one could believe it when one of the most powerful pirate empires of all time wasn't run by a man. It was ruled by a woman, and not just any woman. A former companion worker who outsmarted kings, crushed warlords, and built an empire that no navy could bring down. Her real name was lost to history. Most know her as Ching Shih, which simply means widow of Zheng, her husband's name. But before all that, she was just a girl from Guangdong, China. Her early life was hard. She didn't come from money or power. As a teenager, she was sold into a floating brothel, one of the many ships that served rich and powerful men on the sea. Most girls in her position had no way out. But Ching Shih was different. She was quiet, clever, watching, listening, learning. One day, a pirate named Zheng Yi visited her ship. He wasn't just any pirate. He commanded a massive fleet, feared across the coastline. He was used to taking what he wanted. But when he met her, something changed. He didn't just take her. He proposed. And she agreed, but only on her terms. She made him sign a contract, giving her shared control over the pirate fleet. It was bold, unheard of, but he said yes. And just like that, she went from being sold to sharing power over hundreds of ships. Together, they grew even stronger. Zheng Yi united rival pirate groups into one huge force called the Red Flag Fleet. But Ching Shih wasn't just standing in his shadow. She ran the business side, organizing loot, managing people, and planning the next moves. And then, in 1807, Zheng Yi died suddenly in a storm. Most people expected the empire to fall apart without him. But instead, something wild happened. Ching Shih took over, a woman, in charge of over 70,000 pirates, hundreds of ships, entire coastal cities under her control. And she didn't ask permission. She made it clear, this was hers now. At first, some men in the fleet didn't like it. They challenged her leadership, but she handled them quickly, sometimes through deals, sometimes through force. She brought in Zheng Yi's adopted son and her own lover, Chung Po Tsai, as second in command. Together, they kept everyone in line. Soon, no one questioned her again. She ran her fleet like a military. She made strict rules. Anyone who disobeyed was punished. Loot had to be shared fairly. No harming female prisoners, ever. Any pirate who tried would be executed. Her code was strict, but it worked. Her fleet became stronger than ever. Her ships moved like waves, fast, brutal, and everywhere. They attacked government ships, robbed wealthy merchants, and controlled trade routes. Villages that didn't pay her taxes were burned. Others paid willingly, just to be left alone. Ching Shih didn't just control the sea. She started controlling the land too. The Chinese Navy tried to stop her, but every time they sent ships, she crushed them. She even captured some of their boats and added them to her own fleet. Then the Portuguese Navy tried. Then the British. And one by one, they all failed. A woman, once considered worthless, was now holding off some of the most powerful forces in the world. She didn't just win battles, she embarrassed empires. But she was smart enough to know that this couldn't last forever. Wars eat away at people. Supplies run out, leaders grow old. So she started thinking ahead, not about how to win more, but how to end on top. In 1810, when her power was at its peak, she did something no pirate had ever done before. She offered peace. She marched into the governor's office in full dress, not as a prisoner, but as a boss. She negotiated amnesty for her entire fleet. That means they could walk away without punishment. No prison, no death sentences. They even got to keep their loot. And she didn't walk away empty-handed. Ching Shih retired, married Chung Po Tsai, and lived the rest of her life as a free woman. She opened a gambling house, raised her family, died peacefully in her bed at the age of 69. That's right. One of the most feared pirates in history didn't go down in flames. She walked away rich, respected, and undefeated. Her story sounds like a legend, but it's real. Historians have tracked her rise, her battles, her deals. She wasn't just lucky, she was sharp, patient, and always 2 steps ahead. She's not the pirate you see in movies. She didn't wear an eye patch or swing from ropes. She wore robes, spoke calmly, made deals that changed everything. She was ruthless when she had to be, but fair when it counted. She wasn't trying to prove anything. She just refused to be small. Even now, her name doesn't show up in every textbook. But it should. Because Ching Shih didn't just lead an army of pirates. She became one of the most successful leaders the world has ever seen. She went from being sold to owning the sea. She didn't follow anyone else's path. She carved her own. And in a time when women were barely allowed to speak in public, she commanded thousands. She made herself impossible to ignore. She did it.